Welcome to Archeotech Assimilation, where we discover and investigate the technology of the Imperium and the tools of chaos. Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Archeotech Assimilation. My name is John, and I'm joined today by Glenn. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Sleepy, but good.
Sleepy. So, Archeotech Assimilation, probably a very good name for the show, or ties in well with this episode.
Yeah, very.
How did you? So we're back. Well, we're back with Hammer and Bolter now. Not a starter. He's now that Blood Angels is finished. Was you expecting to go back to Hammer and Bolter, or was you hoping for something else?
It seemed to be the way that Warhammer Plus has been going. It's been lump of a show, some Hammer and Bolter, other lump of a show, some Hammer and Bolter. So
yeah,
we'll get like a couple of Hammer and Bolter and maybe something new in the new year or what it's going to be. But yeah, pleasantly surprised by what we got. Yeah,
I thought it was quite good. And I don't know if I enjoyed it more just because I'm currently rereading Mechanicum. So to have a bit of AdMech action was quite enjoyable.
So you're rereading AdMech or Mechanicum.
Yeah.
But my Crusade army that I've just been working on is AdMech.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite fitting for the two of us.
So it's worked out quite well that we're here together today.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So this episode is called Kill Protocol. As we've already mentioned, it focuses on some AdMech characters. So as always, we will talk about through the beats of the story, talk about what we like and don't like. So take this as your spoiler warning as we dive into the episode. And before we do, I really liked the animation style for this one. It's sort of similar to how all the Hammer and Bolters have been, but this one was I don't know, the way you can see it in this picture, the way they do the backgrounds was a bit like I can't really think, like a chalky faded background, and then the actual characters really sort of stand out.
Yeah, it makes it really easy to sort of focus on the action. Like the background, whilst it was nice, sort of blended into the background.
Yeah, but then it's weird because it's like an easy animated background, and then they really put the detail in where it mattered, where you was paying attention. So it's a nice touch.
Yeah, I think the characters that were sort of the main focus of it were a little bit sharper and crisper than previous Hammer and Bolter, whereas a lot of the other Hammer and Bolter has been quite comic booky. They're just a little bit more detailed in this one.
Yeah, no.
I don't know whether it's a different team or just some different guys that done this one, but yeah, I like the way it looked on this one.
Yeah. Right. So let's dive into it. So this episode starts. We start with a very dead and rotting guardsman. There's some weird slug thing hanging out of his face, and then as it zooms out, he's laying next to a dead orc. And we zoom out and we see just above them a very small fleet of Imperial ships leaving the planet. And as we pan out, we see a wasteland of corpses of orcs and guardsmen, until we see a tech priest walking through the canyon, accompanied by her bodyguard, which is a Castellan robot, which obviously was the picture before. So they have a stop and scan around, and we find out that she's actually hunting for a piece of lost archaeotech, which she does detect far in the distance. And it's not the only thing that she detects. She detects more orcs and lots of them, and estimates that there's a 15% chance of avoiding them, although she's much more specific than 15%. And she goes right down to the final decimal point. So that's the AdMech for you there. So she tells the bodyguard that the risk is high, but it's worth the reward, and their lives are worth sacrificing in order to recover the archaeotech, because knowledge comes above all else. And that will get repeated a few times through the episode. And as we know, the AdMech they really go out their way for these lost bits of archaeotech, or the smallest bit of knowledge. As we found out, that wars have been fought over almost nothing, or just a rumor of knowledge on a planet. So it's a big deal for her. So she's given them a bit of a pep talk, getting him ready to go, and they get jumped by some big orc with a big axe, who is quickly obliterated, but he's followed by another squad of orcs, who are again dispatched fairly quickly, and it seems like they're done until I don't know what you'd call the guys with the claws. Are they what, mech boys or something?
Generally, if there's a power claw involved, it's probably an orc knob.
Right. Okay. So yeah, this orc knob sneaks up and basically rips out this guy's leg, and rips out some gears from his leg, and then they manage to they kill the orc. Obviously now the robot's been wounded, and they've got a bit of privacy. So the tech priest manages to sort of patch up his leg as best she can. She scans his functionability and sees that the leg's at 37%. The ammo and batteries are around 50% each. And she says that without any further repairs, they only have a 25% chance of success. They carry on their mission into the night until they see fire in the distance. And another scan detects a lone human, and they approach and find a guardsman sat by a fire. He's clearly battle worn. He's got a bandage over one eye. He's got big cuts to his face, and he has a robotic left arm. And he's initially nervous of them, but she says that they mean no harm, but advise that the fire is likely to cause more orcs, and sort of invites herself to sit by the fire and starts talking to him. And he's initially surprised and overwhelmed, or quite happy to see that he's not alone, because he thought he was the only survivor. And she tells him that, yep, the Imperium have had a great victory here. They've killed a sufficient amount of orcs to call it a victory. And he sort of gets the hope that he's going to get evacuated until she says, until he mentions, actually, that I've still seen hundreds of orcs, so how can you call it a victory? And she says, it doesn't matter that there's still orcs to the left. Enough of them were killed, but this planet's already worthless. So the Imperium have called victory and they've run away, which sort of breaks his heart.
Redeployed.
Yeah, they've redeployed to something more important and worth saving. So yeah, he's pretty much left for it. And she says that she's remained behind because she has a quest for knowledge, and there is Archeotech on the planet that she's looking for. This device has the ability to repair any technology, so she must secure it, preserve it, so it can be studied and copied, because this could give them the ability to unlock all manners of lost technology, rebuild legions, restore planets, and win the war. He asks about its value, and she says it's so valuable that no one from her order actually knows about it, because it's knowledge that cannot be trusted with anyone else. And then, as you can see, she starts scanning his body, and he says, well, if it's so secret, why are you telling me? And she says, well, the knowledge that I'm giving you is payment for the aid I require from you. And he gets excited and says, are you going to take me with you? And she says no, before quickly killing him and taking his metal arm and using it to fix the robot's leg. And it's like that thing, isn't it? They're on the same side, sort of. As we always say, there's no good guys in the 41st millennium.
Yeah, I like that. It was quite surprising, actually. I was thinking, oh, cool, going to have a little guardsman coming along with it. No, brutally murdering, need your parts. Yeah, that was cool.
I wonder if she could have just had the arm and let him come along without it.
Yeah, maybe she factored in the fact that a one-armed guardsman would have a negative impact on her percentage of success. So yeah, it was obviously the most logical and mathematically sound way of progressing. So yeah, fair play.
Fair enough. Yeah, don't let the guardsman slow you down. So she fixes the robot with the present from the guardsman, and she sort of tells the robot, who seems a little bit, even though he doesn't speak, you can see he's sort of questioning, and she says that we needed that because I need you to function for my protection. Without you, we can't complete the quest for knowledge, and the quest for knowledge is more important than anything, including life. So they move on and they arrive at the walls of a long dead city, find a nice hole in the wall and go through. And she scans around and locks in on the Archeotech's location. And as soon as she does, they hear orcs growling and charging towards them. And the robot goes into a full killbot mode, melting orcs, ripping them to bits, and just like absolutely decimating them as they advance. They start to get close and swarm. So the tech priest manages to run off and get into the entranceway of this cave where the archaeotech is. And as she sort of heads towards and opens up this vault, she pauses and looks back and sees that the robot is now smashed down onto his back. He's still fighting, but he's been overwhelmed. She collects the archaeotech, and an orc sort of sneaks in up on her and is about to kill her, but the robot manages to take it down. But in doing so, an even bigger orc gets on and rips its head off. And then with his last sort of movement, he basically grabs this orc and swings it against the wall, obliterating it. And then, strangely, the tech priest then uses the archaeotech, holds it above the dead robot, and without knowing the outcome, lets it go, and it actually brings him back to life, back to 100% functionality, like good as new. And she sort of explains that without him, she wouldn't be able to survive. So she would have never got the knowledge to where it needed to be. And now that he's back, they could hunt the rest of the planet and look for even more lost archaeotech. And although she scans, she gets a 0.01% reading. But they move on. And as they go, she says, I can't do it alone. And the episode ends. So it was quite a weird, I think, emotional tie to a very unemotional character.
Yeah, and there was they made the Castellan robot quite human in parts, even though it was literally just a machine. You could tell what it was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, her using that bit of archaeotech to restore it. Once you see like the power that it had, you kind of like, okay, cool. You just use a master ball on a Pidgey. That was like epic level stuff on one basic robot. Well done. You could have restored the golden throne. You could have restored cities, empires. Nope. Yep. Fix the robot. Cool. Good job. But you know, I get she had to do it because otherwise she would by herself and she would have been killed pretty much. And I think there was a little bit of like, I would have been by myself. Ooh, I would have been a bit lonely, which is very.
There's that, and she definitely cared, because there was a few times when he got hurt, she had that worried expression, and then when she went into the cave, there was that hesitation before she actually went into the vault, and she's like looked back at him, and you could see, even though there's no emotion on these characters, the way that they did it, you could sense the sadness.
Yeah, I mean you're looking at something that is completely a robot and another what would have been a person, but with a lot of mechanical elements added. So yeah, they kind of, you almost forget that the tech priest is essentially human, but a very machine human. Yeah, having the emotion in there is like, oh, okay, yeah, you actually are human, but very unadmech characteristic.
Well, she'd be frowned upon, like some of her actions, I think, for showing so much emotion towards like I know that they obviously they love their tech, and obviously the flesh is weak and iron is forever sort of motto, but there was a little bit more personality to her than probably what there should have been, which is good.
And it was similar with the Angels of Death stuff. A lot of people just think of the AdMech as a kind of machine. They're all just machines. You can basically think of them like a Necron.
Yeah.
But this and the tech priest in Angels of Death, it's probably two completely different teams that have done this, but they both like really got a nice human characteristic in their tech priests.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
I've actually enjoyed enjoyed both characters.
Yeah.
And then from Bolter back on, I want to see more of this story.
Oh, really?
The previous one, like the Eldar walking through the ghosts of the past stuff. Yeah, I was a bit wasn't a fan of that one. But I think you liked.
I liked it, yeah.
Yeah, but this one is back on form. It was definitely yep, cool. Want more of that? Because there's that 0.1% chance. What are they going to find? Are they going to find anything?
Probably not.
Probably not. But it's back on form of yep, need more.
Have you seen? It's off topic of Warhammer, but have you seen Love, Death and Robots on Netflix?
I haven't, but I've been told to watch it by several people.
Yeah, this is very much in that vein. Some of the music and some of the sound effects sound very borrowed, I would say. I know that it's a Warhammer specialty is borrowing.
Inspired,
yeah. But I think if you like this, you'll like that, because this story is definitely in that vein, and there's some good stuff. But I definitely think these two will wander in that planet till they shut down. And I don't think they're getting off this planet.
No,
probably finding not. Anything.
At least they're going to run out of ammo, and they're just going to get mobbed by orcs.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it depends how many augmented guardsmen they find along the way. They might keep going.
Yeah.
Just collecting this band of survivors without realizing actually you're just our spare supplies. Yeah, no, that was a good episode, and I'm looking forward to the next one, because these Hammer and Bolters have all been really good, I think, to different levels.
I've enjoyed the vast majority, shall we say.
Yeah. All right, then. So, anything else on this episode before we say goodbye?
No. There's always one little thing that makes me go.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Castellan's gun.
Oh, really?
There was a lot of electrical type effect coming from that gun. And in my mind, that shouldn't have been there. The arc pistol that the tech priest has,
yeah,
fair enough. It looked like an arc pistol. There's going to be electrical stuff going on there. That gun, in my mind, is basically a heavy caliber machine gun type thing.
Right.
That is my only. There's always like one little kind of nerd thing that makes me go, oh, that's not how I seen it. Maybe I'm, thinking of a different gun, or just that's what it's supposed to be. But the two guns were too, like, rules wise and lore wise, too dissimilar to have a very similar effect.
Controversial opinion to close out the show.
Yeah.
Let us know. Is Glenn right? Is he wrong? What did you think the gun should look like? Let us know in the comments below. Let us know if you like the episode. And obviously, as we always say, just stick Iron and Ceramite into Google. We've put enough nonsense out into the universe now that you can find us almost everywhere just by a quick Google. More importantly, I think it's Instagram. Get over there, check out all our stuff. We've got a painting competition that's going on at the minute, and you have a bit of time to enter. So check out the video for that. And then obviously, please like, share, subscribe this, and do check out the podcast, which is both on YouTube or on wherever you get your podcasts. So we will say goodbye.
Bye.
As always, we would like to thank you for listening to our Iron and Ceramite podcast. If you liked us, then you can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any other good podcast services. Just remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.